So plastic surgery. This is the brand new film from Guy Trevellyan. He writes and directs. Okie dokie. He also produces along with Caroline McChrystal, Sophie Stacey, and it's executive produced by James Patterson. All right, we have Michael Llewellyn Barker on score. Helena Gonzalez takes care of cinematography. Steve Davis is down with the casting. We got Rebecca Wheeler on hair and makeup. Okie dokie. So our cast, right? We have got Dr. Terra, played by Anna Popplewell. Assistant surgeon is David Buttle. And our scrub nurses, we have Ella Augustine, Shelley Snyder, Michael Kennedy. Right, the intercom is Daniel Ings. We then have got a patient. Oh, operating room nurse was Stefanina Arancina. The anesthesiast is played by Jenny Horsfus. I think that's how you say it, right? Okay, one of our patients is India Bar Nelson. And one of the grieving fathers was Matt Beauman-Jones. So that's most of the cast, kind of, so what is the film about, you may ask? On her final day before maternity leave, Dr. Terra undertakes what she hopes is her final routine operation. While packing up her desk, the intercom chimes, calling her back to the theatre. Alongside her team, Dr. Terra begins to discover that all of their patients have increasing amounts of plastic hidden within their bodies. What starts with a small plastic fork evolves into finding plastic shopping bags, bottles, six-pack rings, toys, food packaging, fishing nets, and even team is quickly overwhelmed with the scale of infected patients running from room to room. They attempt to save as many people as they can until they themselves start showing signs of infection. Dr. Terra is left to make the impossible decision: save herself or her patients. So yes, that is the film. And it's definitely an interesting one because I think what I perceived it to be is different to what it is. You know what I mean? Because, I didn't read the synopsis or anything like that going in, right? So you just see the title, plastic surgery, and you're like, okay, it's something to do with hospitals, possibly plastic surgery, right? That's the thing. And so we see when you see the first operation, you're like, okay, maybe it's not plastic surgery, right? But someone comes in and they remove a fork. I wasn't sure. Is it going to be a comedy, considering where they find said fork? So you're wondering about that. But then, as because we see her go, start packing up, right? She's going to be on maternity leave, all happy, but gets called back. So you're thinking, okay, right, this is getting, and then called back again and again and again. And you're like, yo, this is getting mad intense, right? Are we looking at the fact that work can be overwhelming? You know what I mean? Or, even when, right, you shouldn't be there, work becomes all consuming. So it's like, is this the narrative, right? Is what we're trying to say, all while seeing the evolution of these objects that keep on getting found in people, right? They're getting bigger and bigger, more intrusive, wilder type of thing. It's just like, yo, what is happening here? You know what I mean? So with all of these things, this is kind of what you're wondering. And then you see the fact that she's now getting ill. And it's just like, ooh, right? Because again, no, could this be a situation where, you can work yourself to death, right? Like, you need to find that balance. But then the film ends, right? And we get the, on screen, the text about microplastics. And you're like, okay, that makes a lot of sense, right? Because I think, especially for me, I didn't necessarily see all the things to be plastic, right? I just saw their objects. But, when it talks about the dangers of, right, it does make a lot of sense, right? The way that it's building and building and building, starting off small, because it's like no one knew about microplastics. But as we know more, and then as, more companies, right, use plastics and the packaging and just all of these kind of things, right? Because packaging changed. A lot of times things were in paper and stuff, and then that changed, right? So you're thinking, okay, so it's getting worse and worse and worse. And yes, within the hospital, right? Within all the things that keep on happening and the operation and everything like that. So the way it's done really well. Now, I imagine if you can see the objects getting pulled better, you might have the realization of sooner, maybe, right? But as a tool, right, as a thing to be like, yo, we need to do something about this, right? We need to think on this. This definitely, you know what I mean, is a big beacon, right, to shine that light on the issue for sure. Yeah, like everything is handled very well. Like, it looks good. I think the cast do a decent job, right? We're not necessarily getting a lot of dialogue through facial expressions and body language, though. They do convey the stress of the moment, right? I thought they did that very well. I feel for me the score was a bit hit and miss, but yeah, this is definitely an impactful film, right? Definitely, something that makes you go, yo, right? Definitely worth checking out, right? Definitely worth checking out. I know it played at Holly Shorts London at the end of last year, but yes, it's got some dates coming. If I can try and remember, You know what? I can't think of the exactly where it's gonna be playing. Um, okay, it's just probably played at Glasgow. Um, oh, so coming up, it's at CineQuest, right? Film and Creativity Festival on the 14th and 17th of March. All you Californians, it's going to be at the Alamo Draft House, Mountain View, right? It's coming to you shortly. Uh, oh, no, sorry. I read that wrong. It's at CineQuest on the 14th and it's at the Draft House on the 17th. Right, so yeah, there are few dates to be aware of, and I guess if you follow, their socials and check their website, you'll get more. I'll try and put anything else I can find on the webpage, people. But yes, definitely, if you can, give plastic surgery a look because